Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. Today I have 3 9.8 comics you should be buying. So let's have a look. First one is Star Wars Shadows of the Empire #1 in a 9.8. This one's really sticking out, I think, as a great value right now. Especially, that Darth Vader 6 book, I believe it is, with the first full appearance of the Grand Inquisitor. Love that book and love the cover, but it's a really hot one right now, and that's like $600 in a 9.8. I saw this Shadows of the Empire #1 in a 9.8 sell for $190.50. So just a huge price difference there, and I think on this Shadows of the Empire #1, this is arguably maybe a better book than that Darth Vader 6 in a 9.8. So first appearance of Prince Zyzer on this one. He's pretty much like the second biggest villain outside of like the normal Star Wars movies. It's like Admiral Thrawn and then Prince Zyzer basically. So I think there's a lot there with the Prince Zyzer, and I'm pretty sure he was just introduced. I read like an article, I didn't read the comic book, but in the Crimson Reign recent new comic books, they had like Prince Zyzer in those comic books, and that's sort of new. They hadn't really used him in recent like Star Wars canon, I believe, from this one article I was reading this morning. First appearance of Dash Rendar as well. So a couple first appearances on Shadows of the Empire. A pretty great 9.8 too. I think this one probably has that over, that Darth Vader 6 book, certainly. This is a Dark Horse Star Wars comic book from the 90s. Really similar to kind of an Heir to the Empire #1. First appearance of Admiral Thrawn, sort of before that one really blew up. This one reminds me a lot of that one because it is a Dark Horse book. There's not a lot of them on the 9.8. It's a great collector item. 81 9.8s in a blue label. 55.1% the 9.8 ratio. So the 9.8 ratio is not as low as an Heir to the Empire #1. So I wouldn't expect it to get up to $1,000 or anything like that. But at $190.50, I saw that recent auction on eBay and documented it on one of our pricing videos recently. That is just a great deal. I think, if one pops up in Canada and I can get it for less than $200 in a 9.8, a 1 of 81, I really might consider this one. And there's, Prince Zyzer is in maybe the Obi-Wan show or whatever show coming out. This book is just so much higher. So, and Shadows of the Empire too. I think it's right neck and neck with Heir to the Empire for like the most popular sort of outside of the Star Wars movies kind of stories that I think those kind of stories really blew up in the 90s. But Shadows of the Empire, yeah, if you're a classic Star Wars fan, you'll like this one, but there's some potential with it and just a great value. A 1 of 81 for $190.50. Yeah, hopefully you can get it under 200 in a 9.8. Okay, next one is Captain America Annual #8. I do like these sort of Wolverine versus key issues, usually in the 80s, most of them are. And maybe near the top of that list is a Captain America Annual #8. Great Mike Zeck cover. Captain America versus Wolverine on this one. A bit of a 2-for-1, actually, for this one. Consider Marvel Comics Presents #117. That's when Wolverine fights Venom for the first time. Pretty cool cover on that one. In a 9.8, I saw that one sell for $162.75 and $169.50. That Marvel Comics Presents 117 in a 9.8. Those are pretty great prices. I think occasionally you'll see that one sell up to, a little over 200 even if you really want that one. But Captain America Annual 8, I think, is a great collector item in a 9.8. And certainly a versus Captain America, a big classic hero. There's 284 9.8s in a blue label for this one. 18.7% the 9.8 ratio. They're selling right around $500 to $550. I think if even, it's worth it to get in there around $550. It was a great centered one, looking awesome in like a new case 9.8. So Captain America Annual #8, definitely in those collectible Wolverine versus keys and near that top of that list. And consider Marvel Comics Presents 117 as well in that kind of basket. All right, last recommend is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 in the 4th print. I'm going to kind of defend the 4th print of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. I think people kind of dog the cover, but I actually really like the cover, and it's kind of a wraparound Shredder cover with, the Foot Clan and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the cover. An Eastman and Laird cover ain't really going to, knock your socks off with crazy eye appeal or anything like that. So I think for what it is, the 4th print's a pretty great cover. The thing it doesn't have for it is it's not the first 3-print cover. It's different, right? So because it's different, you'd expect, the values not to be as good. And I'm not saying, this one's going to explode in value, but I think right now it's making a lot of sense in a 9.8. And I kind of got my eye out. Hopefully one pops up in Canada that I can maybe buy for a reasonable price. There's 80 9.8s in a blue label, a 1 of 80 for the 4th print. And even consider the 5th print. There's a little bit less in the 9.8 of that one. A lot of people seem to like that cover a little bit better as well. I think the 4th and 5th prints are kind of the easiest and somewhat affordable in the 9.8 still. The 3rd print in the 9.8 was a great one that I should have bought in like 2019, but it really exploded with the market. I think that one's about, over $5,000 in a 9.8 for a 3rd print. Okay, so the 4th print, 80 of them, 13.4% the 9.8 ratio, so not too bad of a ratio either. And they're selling sort of 700 to 800. I saw one sell for 850 or best offer. I remember an auction in Canada going probably about 2 months ago. It was like 730 or something like that. So 700 to 800 I think is a great value. About a year and a half ago, the comic book market was a lot hotter. This one, 1,200, 1,300. I remember a few selling in a 9.8, maybe even a little bit more than that. So you know what? I think over time, this one's probably going to be headed up back to those prices. So I think right now, a great one for like about $800, looking awesome in a 9.8, good colors and centering. One of those 80, yeah, I think it's kind of a no-brainer buy. And I do, over time, it might take quite a long time, a couple years. Maybe the next Turtle movie's got to come out, get some demand going. But I think this one's headed back over $1,000 in the 4th print. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. Almost can't go wrong. Yeah, a reprint, but a reprint in the 80s still, and first appearance of like Shredder, the Ninja Turtles, and Splinter. All right, team. Yeah, just 3 kind of ones that were really making sense for me. I wanted to share that. Yeah, I think they're pretty great buys right now. All right, thanks so much for watching, though. I'll see you on the next one. If you're liking my videos, please subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll keep you updated on future content.